Hey guys, in the 3rd anniversary we're gonna get a free portrait selector. That means we're gonna choose one of our 6-star characters that we already own, that is part of the standard pool, and we can grab a free portrait for that character. In today's video we're gonna figure out which character you should pick a portrait for and why is that. We're gonna talk about some circumstances and everything, so let's hop in. Let's talk about the most obvious character to choose a portrait for first, which is of course Regulus. Regulus is gonna be the main DPS character for the brand new instrument archetype team. She sees a Euphoria update in the 3rd anniversary and all 5 of her portraits see a massive glow up. So having the opportunity to pick a portrait that is fresh out of the oven for a brand new main DPS character is an opportunity that you should not just throw away or ignore or sleep on, right? You get the point. You want to walk out all of the 3rd anniversary with Regulus at least portrait number 2. That is a goal. Please also keep in mind that you have already the opportunity to grab a Regulus portrait here and there. For example, she is right now part of the Euphoria banner and she can be obtained as well by purchasing this camera here, the Immaterial Photoscope PD, out of the event shop that is going on right now. And if you have some batteries available there from the battle pass, you can obtain a Regulus portrait for, basically for free and for very cheap out of those 2 resources. Regulus is also going to be part of the Euphoria banner in the 3rd anniversary itself. So establishing portraits for Regulus should not be a big deal at all and should be kinda free. And that is what you absolutely need to do. Keep in mind, we already talked about this in the deepest detail possible. That is not part of like one of your highest priorities or anything. Blood Tide comes first, and only if you have established a Blood Tide team, then if you have the resources you can worry about the instrument archetype. Keep in mind that under no circumstances did you pull for the twins or will you invest into Regulus portraits if you do not walk out of the 3rd anniversary with at least 140 Unilocks at your disposal to 100% guarantee you the character that releases in version 3.8 called Ever Echo. If you invest any Unilocks into the instrument archetype and then you don't obtain Ever Echo, you just threw a massive amount of Unilocks into the garbage can, because your instrument archetype, the performance of it will be extremely lackluster and way behind what it actually should be. So please keep that in mind. One more time, why is Regulus the best character to invest this free portrait into? Because brand new archetype is introduced at a major anniversary that will be one of the best archetypes in the entire game moving forward. It is therefore future proof because this team does not have a sub DPS yet. We have Regulus as the main DPS, we have Coppelia as the support, and then Ever Echo joins as the sustain. For the time being we're gonna use Rihanna, but she will not be part of this team in the long run because Rihanna will join Blood Tide. So this team is future proof and extremely strong because, as I said, Regulus is going to be one of the best main DPS characters in the entire game and you want her at least P2 at the very least. So go ahead and establish yourself that. You have more than enough opportunities right now. The second character, in case you have already invested into the twins or you skip the instrument archetype as a whole, because you simply don't have the resources to guarantee you all of these characters and you have to prioritize Blood Tide. So a lot of people should skip the instrument archetype actually. If this scenario doesn't occur to you and you will commit, you will invest into the instrument archetype, then I want to bring Coppelia's portrait number 1 to your attention. Coppelia will be part of the standard pool right on the 3rd anniversary already. That is usually not the case with characters. That makes it so that you are able to pick a portrait for Coppelia. with this free portrait selector. And here, let's take a look at her portrait number 1 and what it actually does. Your incantation number 2 gives you a buff called Symphonic Unity. That increases your critical hit rate, right? You can see this here on the bottom of your screen. Okay, now the portrait number 1 does that this buff from your incantation number 2 now lasts for 4 rounds instead of just 3. It grants now critical hit rate plus 72% instead of 48. That is a pretty respectable increase here already. The most important part about all of this though is that 1 mineral energy 1 would now grant you 2 mineral energy instead. That is all of these things combined. Your crit rate buff lasts 1 more round. Good quality of life. You increase your critical hit rate for your entire team, by the way, by quite a significant margin more than without the P1. And one of your mineral energy ones grants you 2 mineral energy. Why is that also not just quality of life, but actually very, very strong? Because here you can see that the incantation number 1 for Coppelia, that is here to deal a little bit of damage, cost you 2 mineral energy. But you have only 1 mineral energy, right? That mineral energy that only gives you 1. But with portrait number 1, one of those mineral energy 1 now grants you 2, which means you will cast your incantation number 1 additional time, and that levels up the instrument. So that is very, very, very beneficial for you. And all of these 3 things combined are such an increase in quality of life and critical hit rate increase for the entire team that this is one of the best P1s you can possibly obtain, and that's why I just showed it to you. Now moving forward, every single thing that I'm about to present to you would imply that you don't know what you are doing. If that's the case, then let me tell you about Lorentz Butterfly P1. Right, why did I just say that you don't know what you are doing? That is because if you play Lorentz Butterfly and you take a look at this portrait number 1 and you don't already have it, you pulled for Lorentz Butterfly without getting her portrait 1, I mean that is absolute insanity. Truly, because this P1 is a must-have. It's one of the best P1s in the entire game. It is, I would even go as far and say this is the number 1 best P1 in the game. How could you not have that if you play Afterglow? That is beyond me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Here, what it does though is that AP plus 1 lasts now for 2 instead of just 1 round. That is already an effect that we call a must-have right then and there. That's the reason why everyone needs to have LFP1, that is why everyone has to have Flutter page P1 and so on and so forth. So here we could already stop reading and we already knew this is a must-have nonetheless. I gotta be fair though, that is the P1 not from an incantation like it would be with Aleph or with Flutter page. This P1 here comes from her ultimate. So yeah, okay, maybe not a must-have right then and there, right? But you get the point. Then Lorentz Butterfly now gains an additional Moxie plus 2 at the end of the round if she did not cast an ultimate this round. Holy yikes, right? I mean, now that is already completely overpowered. Moxie plus 2 without, just by you not casting an ultimate, you can act. Normally, characters gain like plus 1 Moxie, or maybe even plus 2 Moxie as well if they haven't or haven't actively cast an incantation this round. Lorentz Butterfly gains this plus 2 Moxie for free by just not using an ultimate. Absolutely incredible. But she will also not only deal more damage by herself, but she will provide like incantation might and other beneficial effects to her entire team, boosting the Afterglow lineup as a whole further, right? I mean, I challenge you, show me a better P1 in this game than this. I mean, you will not be able to. This is an absolute must-have. If you play Lorentz Butterfly and you don't have this P1, you have to pick this portrait. You have no other choice. Okay, now we speed up things a little bit here. I want to show you Ramona's portrait number 1 that lets her start with +3 Moxie when she enters battle. She inflicts a few more poison stacks, she gains more stacks of her signature spirit repellent mechanic, she deals a little bit more damage and all of that good stuff. You want this portrait if you play Ramona because you start off with pretty much having your ultimate ready right out of the gate. This is only an honorable mention because the poison team is not core meta, it is part of the extended metagame, and therefore I would call this more of a just for fun than a serious team, and therefore investing anything into this poison team would not be worth it. What tops this off is that you even want or would be better off picking portraits for Willow and Tuesday, because those two shall be at P3 if you want to play poison in a little bit of a serious manner. So even there I would put more value onto Willow and Tuesday if you could get them to P3 with this free portrait selector compared to what I would recommend going for Ramona. But this P1 is still pretty solid, so I wanted to show you this as an honorable mention. Now I see a bunch of people bringing to my attention that we should get either Sharon P1 or Chen Higuang P1, and I don't know why people are talking about Sharon when it comes to portraits, but to each their own. Chen Higuang makes a tiny little bit of more sense, but let me tell you something. You know how much emphasis and how much of, I told you that how much of must pulls Liang Yue P2 and Chen Higuang P2 are, right? Those were way more important pulls than the planned Prompto team in the half anniversary 6 months ago. I think everyone remembers that story. And especially right now, in the state of the game that we are in right now, of course I'm proven to be 100% one more time, every time, right? And so if you don't already have P2 Cheng, then I don't know why you have Cheng at all. The only possible scenario that I could have, or that I could see that happens to you right now is that back when we pulled for Cheng, you didn't have enough resources to P2 him. You maybe saw this as a little bit of too much of a risk or too much of an investment for some weird reason, right? And we already knew that we're gonna get this free portrait selector back in the day. So maybe you pulled him P1 and you waited for this very moment now in the 3rd anniversary to get his P2. That would be a good call. It is not a good call though to have Chen Higuang at P0 right now, that's laughable, and then get his P1. That is not what you do, because if you look at what his P1 does is, there are a lot of shenanigans that now last for 3 instead of just 2 rounds. And if you understand how Chen Higuang works and how to play this guy, then you know that is key. You need to have this, otherwise you cannot keep these buffs and beneficial effects afloat. You need the 3 rounds. That is very, very, very important to make this character function properly. The kicker though is that this is only the case if you also have his P2, because all of these beneficial effects from P1, the entire P1 you can say, only triggers after Chen Higuang used his ultimate, and only then does these 3 rounds it matters, right? Only then. All of those effects lasting 3 rounds matters only after you use the ultimate. Now if you need a turn or two to cast your ultimate, then this is a whole waste. You need P2 so that the P1 comes to life at turn number 1, right? The whole team synergy, everything that Cheng is here for and does, it needs to come online at turn 1. Otherwise the character is not worth it because he is too slow, and it hurts this entire team. P2 Liang Yue and P2 Cheng played together with Fatutu and Flutterpage. This is one of the very, very best teams in the entire game. They are just behind Dynamo. It's very, very close there, yeah? You could even make an argument if you replace Fatutu with Enigma, that the Liang and Cheng team is actually ranked number 2 right after Blood Tide. But you get the point. This is a top 3 team that you need to have, and I told you all about it back in the day. So the point here is I'm going into way way too much detail, excuse me. The point is, don't get P1 Cheng if you have him P0. That is a waste. You can only get this P1 if you can somehow manage, like for example, he is in the game right now. He sees a rerun on a scam banner together with Igor. And only if you get his P1 from here would it be worth grabbing a free portrait for him from the free portrait selector to P2 him. That is the only way you can make this work. That is not what I recommend, by the way. Yeah, if you have Cheng, you already have him at P2. There's no way around it. Okay, if you have him P1, then get him P2 from this free selector. Otherwise, don't do it. One last character I want to show you is Corvis. This is the exact same scenario, kind of, not to that extent, but it is kind of the exact same scenario as it is with Chen Higuang. Don't just go for Corvis's P1. No, look, if your Dynamo team, your Dynamo lineup is Corvis, Brome, Sharon, Enigma, and you have Corvis P1, then grab her P2 here from this free selector. Otherwise, please stay away from Corvis. And that wraps it up, guys. I hope this video was fun and informative. If you have any questions, if you are in a very, very specific scenario that I didn't mention here or anything, feel free to join my Discord server. Link is in the description down below. And there, if you have a question concerning this video, ping me on that Discord server, and as long as I'm not asleep, I will answer you immediately, okay? And that's gonna be about it. I hope that video was fun and informative. If you like Reverse1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.